Let's take a second and talk about terminology. Drugs, medicine, there are fancy words or euphemisms for chemical. At the end of the day, we're taking chemicals. Our bodies weren't designed to take chemicals. Humans have been around a long time. Now, don't get me wrong, some chemicals or drugs are actually good for you. Antibiotics is one of my favorite examples. The first antibiotics were developed in the late 30s. They've saved millions of lives over time. There are also certain medical conditions where people do need to take their medications. Good example is cardiac arrhythmias. Many people are kept alive because they do take these types of drugs. But for the most part, why we're talking here in drug interaction news is too many people are taking too many things and they're causing interactions. About a century ago, nobody really took prescription drugs. They didn't exist. There weren't so many companies selling them. But today we have big pharma. It's big money. It's big business. How did we get here? Well, one example is Bayer Pharmaceuticals. One of the first products on the market for people to take was aspirin. Originally, aspirin was extracted from the bark of the willow tree. Over the decades, Big Pharma got smart. They started synthesizing aspirin. They started discovering other drugs. They figured out how to synthesize them. And a whole plethora, if you will, of things were available to physicians to give you. They call these prescriptions. And over the decades, more and more people are taking more and more things. So in today's world, Western society, everybody's on board with taking prescription drugs or more and more pharmaceuticals. And one of the points I want to make is just because somebody in a white lab coat says you should take this and another person in a white lab coat gives it to you at the pharmacy, it doesn't mean it's okay to take it in combination. It may not be okay to take it individually. And we're going to address that in other segments. But keep in mind, just because it's prescribed to you and given to you by people in white lab coats doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's necessarily safe for you. So part of the reason society got to the place it is with so many overprescribing physicians, the whole system, that's called marketing. Pharmaceutical companies originally marketed only to physicians. About 30 years ago, pharmaceutical companies started marketing directly to people. And in fact, there's only 2 countries in the world where this is permitted, the United States and New Zealand. But in today's era, we have consumers going to their physicians and saying, hey, I saw this. Is this good for me? Surveys have shown that physicians in general will prescribe to the patient what they ask for. So this is another contributing factor to the overconsumption of pharmaceuticals.